Recently gathered up a whole bunch of my own knives that I'm ready to get rid of, and I put them up on bladebinge.com. Bladebinge.com is a company where you can buy and sell newer used knives. They have 100% protection for both parties, so there's no risk for the buyer or sellers. I personally think this is a great company, which is why they are today's video sponsor. And it wound up working out perfectly because of the video idea. So if you want to check out the knives I have for sale, for a really good price, by the way, or any other newer used knives, or possibly sell some of your own, check out bladebinge.com. Links in the description. Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we're talking about 7 incredible knives that are actually affordable. These are affordable knives that you probably don't even realize how good they actually are. Starting it off with the QSP Ripley. I can't tell you how much I like this thing. And you know, the more I open it, the more I have it, the longer I have it, the more and more and more I like it. It has a very solid crossbar lock. I mean, this thing feels tough as nails. And then it has an incredible detent for a crossbar lock. So the action is rapid. I mean, very rapid action. The crossbar lock is very easy to get to, super smooth. I believe it's riding on bearings. I mean, it has to be riding on bearings. It's so damn smooth. The ergonomics are very neutral, and it has a good thickness and a good width that you can really bear down on. Yes, I do feel these little grooves right here, but they just basically add to traction. And if you're gonna wear gloves or anything like that, it's probably gonna really serve you well. It has a reversible deep carry clip that's inset with flat screws, which is a good thing because crossbar locks are ambidextrous. So you're going to be able to use this just as well as I can right-handed. You could do left-handed. The blade shape is a drop point stone washed 14C 28M blade with a beautiful grind. It has really good geometry. The cutting geometry is amazing with this. And then coupled with these ergonomics, this thing slices really good because you have the leverage coupled with the good geometry, coupled with the size. It is amazing. The QSP Ripley. Next, this one's a little bit of an oddball out of all the knives. This is the KUBEY Hydra. Now, this one surprised me because on paper, or even just visually looking at it, I would have said, nope. Nope, because of it going from thicker to slimmer. I don't typically like that. Typically, I want to go from slimmer to thicker, but I do gotta say, there's just sometimes a knife surprises you on how good it actually is. And this thing is amazing. One, this blade shape is basically like a dagger style spear point blade without having, you know, a sharpened spine. It is a little thick, but that also supports the tip because this thing is very pokey. I mean, very, very, very pokey. It's like basically like a shiv, but you have really good utility cuts, and with the handle the way it is, you have tons of control and maneuverability, you know, to use it as a knife. The action is insane. I mean, this detent, KUBEY does a really good job with their detents in action, and there's just times where their detents are shockingly good. And this is one of those times where the flipper tab is actually low compared to the center of the pivot, so you wouldn't expect it to be as snappy as it is, but it is so snappy. Great access to the lock bar. Micarta scales, TA hardware all the way around. Deep carry clip that's inset with flat screws, not reversible. And the blade steel's 14C 28N, which I love that blade steel. And you know, this knife, man, I'm telling you, it's a good one. It's long, it's slim, it's thin, it's light, it's snappy. It has a lot going for it for just a simple pocket knife. Let's get to the next one. Now, the next one is an oldie but a goodie. The CMB Predator. This is one of my favorite budget knives. You can get these for like 60 bucks or something like that, maybe 70 at tops, 50 to 60 bucks. It just depends on where you're getting it from and when and blah, blah, blah. But 14C 28N, beautiful low tip spear point blade. You could even call it a drop point. Beautiful, perfect sharpening tool plunge grind. This is the best sharpening tool plunge grind I've ever seen on any knife. Damn near. This is exactly how Chris Reeves does it, where the plunge grind is almost behind the scales, like it's so close. So you have all of this life to sharpen off. You will never, ever, ever hit the plunge grind on this. Then you have a crossbar lock that is super good. Like the snappiness of it, the drop is very, very smooth. Like it's going to close just as fast as it can open. Thumb studs are easy to get to, and it has a rock solid lockup. Like, I mean, like a damn bank vault. I've given a couple of these away because they're such good knives that, you know, this is the type of knife that you want to give to somebody if they're going to be tough on their knife, because you know it's not going to close on them. You know it's not going to cut them. Not saying there isn't exceptions where something can slip or fail, but typically crossbar locks are relatively solid. They're relatively strong. The ergonomics are really, really well done. You can get a really good grip. You can choke all the way up. It does have a reversible deep carry clip. It is inset, but it does not have flat screws, but they don't really get in the way. And like I said, you can reverse it because it is ambidextrous. So this is good for righties and lefties. But because of, you know, its size, the blade shape, the strength of the lock, the geometry, the choil, just everything, this is a perfect budget knife. Literally a perfect budget knife. So let's get to the next one. Now the next one is the Main Street. This is also an oldie, but this is kind of a newie because they did not do crossbar locks before. Before, this was a liner lock, and it was really good. I loved it. It got one of my favorite budget knives of the year when it came out as far as the liner lock version. This is a crossbar lock version, and the Main Street's using 154 cm blade steel. It has a better sharpening tool and plunge grind than the original, a lot better. So that's something that they fixed on the new version. Very neutral ergos. With this Wharncliffe blade, it's going to be a great utility cutter, great slicer, because you're going to be able to slice all the way out there to the tip. It's good for self-defense. You know, it's just, it has a lot going for it for utility purposes, EDC use, or whatever. And having a crossbar lock, nice strong locking system. We have a deep carry clip that's not inset, and it does not have flat screws, and it's not reversible. That is the one downfall to this one, and that's where they did miss the ball, because this is an ambidextrous knife, so it should be ambidextrous in every way. They put traction in, you know, a couple little areas that do feel pretty good in the hand. It just, to me, this is just a simple Wharncliffe blade that has a nice strong lock, and it has incredible action. I do wish the thumb studs were a little grippier, but I mean, it's good. And you can always use the crossbar locks to flip it open. Great reverse flick, but the ergonomics coupled with this blade shape, you just feel like you have so much control. Rock solid lockup, stupid smooth on the close. A Dirk Pinkerton design. That's actually Kara's favorite knife designer. And then next we have the Kaiser Mini Grouper. This is using a button compression lock, which is another one of the reasons why I love it so much. Because a button compression lock, the Vosteed calls theirs the top liner lock. Having a locking system like this, that is a strong locking system. It's not quite as strong as the crossbar lock for the tests I've seen, but it's very strong. It's much stronger than a conventional button lock in most cases. Like, you know, I guess it probably depends on who's doing the geometry and all of that good stuff. But for the most part, it's a solid locking system. And this one is rock solid, no play any directions, yet it is damn near, I mean, it's a damn guillotine. It just, because when you push the button, it moves the lock completely out of the way. The detent that you get from a compression lock like this is just like a liner lock, which arguably liner locks and frame locks are able to do the best detents. So this is kind of the best of both worlds, where you're getting the detent of a liner lock, and so that means that you can get insane action. Like, the detent is it's so solid. I love it. But then on the close, it acts like a button lock. I love that. Good ergonomics. It has a good thickness, a good width. It feels very comfortable in the hand. You can choke up over the flipper tab if you need to. Sharpening tool and plunge grind is perfect. They did a good job with it. You have plenty of life to sharpen off. It's a low tip drop point blade with a full flat ground satin finish. This thing slices really, really well. Blade steel's Nitro V. I love Nitro V. Deep carry clip. It is reversible. It does have flat screws, but it's not inset. Now, I believe Kaiser does have clips you can buy to replace the clips if you ever wanted to. I'm pretty sure they do. A few companies have that. But anyways, this blade shape, it's kind of like a shilling cutter in a way, where it leans forward like that. So the tip is aiming at everything no matter what. So if I'm pushing, if I'm cutting forward, if I'm cutting back, if I'm cutting downward, if I'm gonna cut a strap, it's gonna trap it. If I'm gonna slice, it's gonna trap it. It's just a great blade shape the way it's angled and designed for use. So this is a knife design that just works for you and not against you, because there are some that kind of, you know, they kind of work against you. And this one works with you. What an incredible knife design. Next. Now the next one, I actually want to bring up two for this spot. There is still another one we're going to show, but the reason why is because they're so different from one another. This is the Storm Owl, and this is the Vexillum, right? Vexillum? Yeah, Vexillum. The Vexillum is a heavy duty knife. So we'll talk about this one here in 1 second. We're gonna get through them quickly. This is a big knife. It is thick, it is heavy, it is beefy. The blade, everything is robust on this. This is probably the most robust knife I've seen Civivi use that was a folding knife. It has the diamond texturing just like a gun grip or just like a pistol grip. It has a clip point blade that has a nice low tip, so it's really easy to use. The handle's nice, big, thick, slightly contoured, feels really good. It feels like a pistol or like a revolver or something in your hand. The action is insane. Like, it's incredible how well tuned this detent is and how guillotine-like the closing is. Like, the thumb studs are nice and big, and everything's overbuilt, including the thumb studs, which are so easy to get to. You find it so like natural to just grab it and flick it. Oh, that was my fault. Just grab it and flick it. And then you have the flipper tab that also works extremely, extremely well. It's a heavy blade, so it's gonna close like a damn guillotine. It is riding on ceramic caged bearings, good access to the lock bar, and it does have a deep carry clip that's inset with flat screws, not reversible though. It does have a lanyard, a hidden lanyard pin back there though. But all in all, oh yeah, blade steel, Nitro V steel. So a nice tough steel and a nice tough knife. Now the liner's not gonna be a tough locking system, but as far as using it in a tough way, this is going to be just fine as long as you use the knife the way a knife is supposed to be used when using tough. Now this is the Storm Owl, which is a complete 180 from this guy right here. This one's more, it's a lightweight, very, not small, but it's a lightweight, medium-sized EDC, very comfortable in the hand, very, very slicey, beautiful clip point blade. This is going to be a little bit more acceptable for the majority because the majority of people just want a good cutting tool. And this is a fantastic cutting tool. Very thin, very slicey, Nitro V steel, aluminum handle with this milling on it that looks really good, comes in many different colors, reversible deep carry clip that's inset with flat screws, and it's using a button lock. And Civivi does the best job with the conventional button locks. And this one is no exception. Incredible detent, incredible action, very, very snappy, rock solid lockup. Shove and drill and plunge grind is decent. You know, that you have all that life to sharpen off. So plunge grind starts there, ends about right there. So that's pretty good. You can easily choke up over the choil. It's a good one, man. It's just a good one. This feels like I'm not gonna say premium, but it feels way more premium than the price tag will reflect. From the materials to just the action, the feeling, the fit, finish, tolerances. Budget knives today are really, really, you know, they're coming out swinging so hot that it can make some more expensive knives not feel as good. And then last, this is from 9 Tie EDC, and the reason why I'm pulling this out is because this is a very affordable knife, and you are getting new blades that you can easily replace very fast. I believe these are 440, so they're 440 steel, which is it's a fine steel. And for the price, when you think about the price, and considering you have 4 blades with different blade shapes, that's amazing. And then you have, look how thin this blade is. Very thin. Just to give you a little example of how thin it is. Look at that. It is a very thin blade. Now look at this. It's also a Scandi grind. Basically, it's got an edge just like a razor blade. So think of it as just like a razor blade that just happened to be cut into a blade shape, which makes it to where this whole thing is an edge bevel. Technically, you could resharpen this. Technically, you can easily maintain it, and you can easily maintain it and strop it and hone it. Now, the way you take out the blade is you just disengage that just a little bit and then push the button. It's very easy. You don't have to take the thing all the way out or anything like that. You just push the button, it locks in, and then screw it tight so that it can't be pushed no more. And that's it. Look at how fast that was. So if you have this in a pouch or something, you know, on the job site or wherever you work, you can change your blade so fast that nobody would even know. And you'd be back to screaming back to work and, you know, screaming through cuts. So the access to the lock bar is really generous. They do give you good access, nice texturing. Not a fan of JG10, but it does come in different colors. And with the JG10, you can make it your own if you want. Get some RIT dye, you can make it whatever color. Inset deep carry clip with flat screws and reversible. And then the action and detent is solid, like super good action. You know, for a budget knife like this, you don't expect them to have the most snappiest detent, but this absolutely does. And it's pretty damn solid. Yeah, I feel a little tiny bit of movement, but not much considering it's a two-piece blade. And using it works great. Now, another thing is that you can use this blade actually to crank this down. If you carry it with like the blades, you can use this thing to really crank it down so it's less likely to come, you know, undone or anything like that on you, which is kind of cool. You use the blade that you're about to change, you know, to tighten it up. But yeah, man, like I said, being 440 makes it to where you can easily sharpen it. You can easily strop it and hone it back, and it should hold a decent edge. And when it does wear out the edge, you can easily switch blades and then wait till you get home until you can, you know, do some passes on a strop or possibly even just full-blown resharpen it all the way up. You know, it's a nice low edge bevel, so it's going to be super slicey. This is like the extreme exception of cutting power when you have a super thin blade with a very low edge angle. So there you guys go. There are 7 knives that I don't think you know how good they actually are. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.